Hello everyone, 7Bart here, and welcome to another movie review. During the 1970s, the Disney Animation Studio has gone through peaks and valleys when getting their films out. And though they did moderately well at the time, the current look at them tends to vary, and some do get a following. But their last film of that decade is one that many people find to be a classic. And that one film is entitled The Rescuers. The movie is based on the book series written by Marguerite Sharp, mostly The Rescuers and Miss Bianca. When the Rescue Aid Society receives a message in a bottle from an orphan girl named Penny, two mice named Miss Bianca and Bernard go out to find and save Penny, who has been taken by a mean woman named Madame Medusa, who uses her to collect jewels on a special diamond from a cave in which she can fit in. And there are a few story elements that I have issue with, but we'll get to that, because frankly, the whole film isn't special or quite enjoyable, yet it's okay for the most part. But why? Well, let's start off with the characters. They are all pretty much okay, though Miss Bianca and Bernard are enjoyable to watch, with Bianca being adventurous and helpful, and Bernard being superstitious and cautious. Penny, I think, is just meh. She didn't seem to do much for me. And everyone else is just okay. Orville, Snoops, the chairman, Evinrude, Ellie Mae, and Luke. But the most distinct out of all of them is Madame Medusa, and I briefly mentioned her before on my top 10 animated Disney villains list. And I didn't put her on there because her motivation is kinda cliched. And to top it off, she is just crazy. Like, almost insanely over-the-top crazy. Not really as crazy as this Cruella de Vil, but a little crazy as this Cruella de Vil. And by the way, did Medusa also take Cruella's card too? 'Cause it looks almost the same. But now, I need to bring up certain story points that need to be addressed. Well, for one thing, some scenes that are showing some tension and some peril and suspense aren't really that interesting. Either because there is no music, or it's not suspenseful enough, or the characters aren't strong enough to stand by. It's not a story point, but I just want to address it. And another thing, Penny happened to run away from the orphanage, only to be taken by Medusa. So why did she run away then? Is it to find a couple that will keep her? She could have stayed at that orphanage, and soon some couple will come up and pick her, even after Rufus the cat had cheered her up. But then, why did she send the message in a bottle and try to run away at Devil's Bayou? She doesn't explain why she did them. Unless you say the reason for them is that she doesn't want to go into that cave again. But that's quite a weak reason to run away and send a message in a bottle. I think this girl just can't think straight on where to go or to stay. Make up your mind, will ya? Another thing is with Medusa's motivation. What does she want? She wants the Devil's Eye diamond so she can be rich with it, which is kind of cliched. But what about those jewels? Well, they don't make much of a fortune as a diamond. But then, what's the purpose of getting a diamond when you own a frickin' pawn shop? Lady, you'd still be rich anyway without the diamond. Why do you even need it? You have a business that could be making money, and yet you're going after a diamond to be more rich? And I would accept if your business isn't doing well, but this is ridiculous. Whew, I gotta calm down. But the one thing that I have a mixed feeling towards, even though it's not a musical, is the songs. And there's only 4 of them, and I will go over each one. The first, called The Journey, aka Who Will Rescue Me, which plays over the opening credits, is kind of soothing and even flowing. Not to mention the whole sequence is all done through paintings, which are beautiful and quite pretty. However, the second, called Rescue Aid Society, which is basically their anthem, is the most annoying of them. Something about the tune and the way the mice sing it is what kills it for me. And I'm not sure if it's the pace, or the tone, or the pitch, but it just annoys me. It's almost as annoying as Land of a Thousand Dances from Ferngully. The third one, called Tomorrow is Another Day, which plays as Bernard and Bianca fly on Orville and played again at the end, is another soothing and flowing song. Yet it sounds more relaxed than the other one, which is more choir-like. And the fourth, called Someone's Waiting for You, is one of the most saddest and tear-jerking songs of all. Just listening to it again made me cry and tear up. And it was nominated for an Oscar, and I would like to have it win and to have it lose to You Light Up My Life. which is the song from the movie of the same name. But there's always one problem I have with these songs. The lyrics are somewhat forgettable. Only a select few words come into mind, but that's all there is. But the actors providing the voices of the characters did a decent enough job. Bob Newhart voices Bernard, Ava Gabor voices Miss Bianca, Geraldine Page voices Madame Medusa, Joe Flynn voices Mr. Snoops, Michelle Stacy voices Penny, John McIntyre voices Rufus, Bernard Fox voices the Chairman, Jeanette Nolan voices Ellie Mae, Pat Buttram voices Luke, and Jim Jordan voices Orville. As a whole, this movie is pretty much okay. The characters are okay, the story isn't much, but fine as is, the songs are kinda mixed, and the animation is pretty good. Directors John Lounsbury, Wolfgang Reitherman, and Art Stevens did at least made a fairly okay film for all it has to offer. But my mixed feelings for the songs, the lackluster story, and a bit of praise for the characters and animation just can't bring me into enjoying the entire thing, and it could come off as forgettable. But as is, there's nothing special about it, yet it's just okay. So today, this movie will be given a rating of 2.5 plus stars. So thank you for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Facebook or Twitter, and tune in next week for the sequel. But then, what's the purpose of getting a diamond when you own a frickin' pawn shop? Lady, you still could be... Oh, God. You have a business that could be making money, and yet you're going after a diamond to get...